Whether he's jumping out of buildings, flying planes, or just hanging off them, there's no denying Tom Cruise is the bona fide movie star of his generation.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself.
But what you might not know is that he's also a fan of the project.
Bring it in. Bring it in. Come on, guys. That's beautiful.
So when Tom popped up to chat, I jumped at the chance. We just had to work through some technical issues first.
What happened? He just cut off.
Not with me.
Okay, could you call him, please?
Tom, I am here. I am here.
That was like, what happened? Is Pete okay over there?
I'm here, and it is an absolute pleasure to see you again, Tom.
How's it going there?
It's going great, and I'm very excited to be chatting to you. The best way I can describe how I felt when I walked out of Maverick is I was giddy. I was thinking about it going, well, the combat scenes are better. It's a more powerful storyline. This may be a better film than Top Gun. Do you feel that way?
That's the dream. That was always a dream. And I was thinking of you and all the audiences and what can we do to, just to really entertain everyone and figure this thing out.
I feel the need for speed.
36 years ago, Tom Cruise turned the call sign Maverick into a household name.
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
He soared into our hearts as the cocky fighter pilot who, along with his wingman Goose,
Talk to me, Goose.
clocked too many G's, got into plenty of dogfights, and gave us moments that, well, you know the drill.
Top Gun was such a phenomenon. Aviator sunglasses went through the roof. People were enrolling in the Navy at record levels. Was there talk of a sequel earlier, perhaps like in the late 80s, early 90s?
No. Before it opened, the studio wanted to do a sequel. Paramount was after me for about a year to make the film before I committed to it. And I just wasn't ready to do it. As a young actor and I'm developing my skills and I was educating myself in cinema and story, something that I watched movies my whole life. And as time went on, every year I would release a movie, people would be like, what about Top Gun? Make another Top Gun. And it didn't ebb. It got, now it was generational. Now I'd be talking to 3 generations and I would go home and I'd think, okay, what could I do? There are things that I wanted to accomplish for the first one. I wanted it more immersive for an audience, inside that F-14. Because part of my deal when I signed on to make the movie is I have to fly in an F-14 and you've got to film in the F-14.
Well, you have your pilot's license, Tom, and you have for quite a while. How important is it for you to make these stunts seem and look as real as possible?
I've always wanted to fly airplanes since I was a kid, since I was about 4 years old, and make movies. So you can see certain films that I made, American-made and Fallout, where I was playing with aviation. I was evaluating technology, cameras, lenses, what the look of these things were. All the way back, I was evaluating digital with the film that I did with Michael Mann, Collateral. Film versus digital, how do we approach these sequences? How can I immerse an audience? What is that world? And at a certain point we were shooting Fallout and I realized I had enough elements in place that I felt confident enough to be able to attempt to do this.
Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell, let me be perfectly blunt. You are not my first choice. You were here at the request of Admiral Kazansky, AKA Iceman. He seems to think that you have something left to offer the Navy. What that is, I can't imagine.
With a supercharged career spanning 4 decades, a few famous marriages, and some newsworthy moments, Tom's taken his love of cinema from psychological dramas to impossible missions.
What the hell is he doing?
I find it best not to look.
I'm an actor that uses his physicality, and I use everything, to tell a story. And so I was taking dance lessons and singing lessons and fight lessons and training in airplanes and training in skydiving. Like, I develop all these skills so that I can then put it in to the movies.
But Top Gun was where it all began. And now Tom's jumping back into the flight suit, bringing a whole new crew along for the ride.
Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
I did punch the air when I heard Danger Zone, minutes into the film. That was really cool, but I think you have done a great job in the nostalgia of the first film, but also moving this story onwards. Was the casting of Miles Teller as Goose's son, was that the thing that gave you permission to make this sequel?
Yes, that was the moment. Look, story is king, and what I mean by that is I've always looked for a good story, what I felt was an interesting story, an interesting world, and then I'll build the characters within it. And I felt like that is an emotional story. It's something that, for an audience, is worthy to try to tell that story, to go for it with that as the spine. You think up there you're dead. Believe me.
My dad believed in you. I'm not gonna make the same mistake.
I'm interested to know, outside of Top Gun and now Maverick, what is your happiest movie-making memory?
Yeah, I gotta say, there's been so many. As I said, I've wanted to make movies since I was 4 years old. I traveled around as a kid all the time. I was that guy who, I didn't make movies until I was 18, but I had jobs, I had to work, and, you know, I liked working. Even as a kid, I never went to film school. My film school was making movies, and as an artist, I'm always looking at how can I immerse the audience into this story, into this world.
Well, you certainly immersed me, and the reaction to Maverick early has been phenomenal. Thanks for bringing Mav back, and we can't wait to see you in Australia soon, and hopefully at the project desk again.
Man, I wish I could be there now. I can't wait, man. We're getting, like, on the next mission, I'm definitely coming. I always want to go back there. I love it there, and to be able to do in person, you know, it's just, it's very special.
We love you, Tom. We're going to hold you to that.
Thanks, Pete.
We certainly will. It's in the diary. Top Gun Maverick soars into cinemas this Thursday, May 26.